Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Apologies that I am the wandering Jew, even though it's not a Friday. That's just the nature of the way things are at the moment. And I want to firstly dedicate today's learning in memory of all those that we are saying Kaddish for, both those that we have Yortzeit for and those that we are saying Kaddish during the course of their year. Wish long life to all the families. So, perhaps one of the most enigmatic characters in the early part of the book of Bereshit is Noach. Noach starts out being described in our Torah portion as a man that is considered righteous, a non-Jew who was exceptionally righteous. We've already discussed that. By the end of the portion, we find a very different description. Fast forward towards the end of his life, after the flood, after emerging from the ark, Noach is described as Ish Ha'adama, a man of the ground. And he's described in the following terms, Vayachel Noach Ish Ha'adama. Noach is described as somebody who profaned the earth. And the question is, what exactly? That's a really sharp criticism of Noach. What did he do wrong? And what's the big deal that he was, busy with the earth after the flood? I mean, isn't that what we would expect him to do? What else should he be doing? Before we answer the question, let me ask you, our lovely viewers and listeners, a question. And let me just say good morning to all those that are joining us. Apologies if I sound a bit blocked up. It's because I've got a slight cold, but we'll get over it. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, David. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Helen, and everyone. And wishing long life to all those that have Yortzeit. And a good Chodesh to everyone. It's a new month. We're finished with the festivities, and now we start a new month, the month of Mar Cheshvan. So here's the question. I met a friend recently from school days, and we were catching up and speaking about all the friends that we had in class. And I remember him saying about a certain friend who will remain nameless, he hasn't changed one bit. And clearly it was meant to be a compliment. I want to ask you a question. If somebody said about you, be it midlife or towards the latter part of your life, hasn't changed one bit, would you be happy with that description, with that accolade about yourselves, or would you see it as a veiled criticism of yourself? I personally think that I would see it as a criticism, because as much as I am sure that people are judging people in terms of their looks, their appearance, that they look very young, and there's a whole industry that is built on trying to ensure that we don't change. Our external, our cosmetic veneer, the way we appear should be exactly the same. That's what we want to be seen as. That's the greatest compliment you can give a woman or even a man. You look so young. You ask their age and they say, yeah, I thought you were 20, 21, 22. She's got grandchildren, but the best compliment and the most happy, she'll be smiling all day. Yeah, you look like, I can't believe it. It's amazing. You look incredible. The truth is that that's not necessarily what we want to be known for or as. The idea is that we are meant to be constantly evolving and changing the same way that the world around us changes. Consider the following. Noach emerged. What did Noach do, by the way, for the time that he was in the ark, right? He was there for a year in the ark with all the animals, with his family. Noach's job was quite simply, he was to look after, to feed every one of those animals. The ark was a microcosm for the world that had been left behind. Every animal, the future of humanity was contained in this micro world. And Noach's job was to look after them. Why was that so Noach's job? God couldn't have made a miracle for Noach so that he should have taken it easy and the animals would have survived with manna or something. Why did Noah have to feed the animals? The answer is because if we remember what we spoke about yesterday and the day before, we said as follows. We said that one of the criticisms of Noah is that though he was righteous in his generation, he maintained his own righteousness for himself. He didn't manage or succeed in persuading, in inspiring anyone. There were no followers of Noah, unlike Abraham, who brought so many under the divine protection, under the wings of the Almighty's presence, who was able to show people the light, was able to touch the hearts and minds of so many in his hospitality, his kindness. We don't hear that about Noah. And that's the criticism. And therefore, the antidote to that is to put him into a microcosm of the world where he is going to become conditioned to work day and night to learn to become a giver, not a taker. If you're a giver, you're a liver. And that's what Noah had to become. Somebody who gave and gave and gave, performing acts of kindness to each and every one of those animals. A thankless task if ever there was one. At the end of it, Noach emerges, and we mentioned that he profaned the earth through the act of working the ground. Our sages tell us that Noach actually went out and planted a vineyard. He had seeds for vines in his pocket, took them out, planted them. The vines grew, and he made himself wine. He drank the wine, and after drinking the wine, he became drunk, and he was criticized for it. Let me ask you a question. If you've had a long, hard day or a long, hard year, don't you want to sometimes have a little drink or some distraction? It could be your phone, whatever your own personal vice is, but everyone needs distraction. What was wrong with Noah doing that? Why couldn't he be distracted? And the answer is that Noah now had the golden opportunity to build the new world. Why was he wasting time? And the answer is because the word Vayachel Noach, Noach profaned himself. In other words, Noach wanted to stand still in time. He missed the opportunity. Profanity comes about when we act mundane. We're not interested in building sanctity, in infusing this world with its purpose. Noach missed out. He was missing out on life. He'd watched the destruction of the world. This should have bolstered his efforts, his energies, to double his efforts, to touch people, to move people, to rebuild the world, and he wasn't interested. Another explanation of why he got drunk is because when one gets drunk, one reminisces about the good old days. You lose sight of perspective. That's what Noach wanted. He wanted to look back. He wanted to reflect. He wanted to hark back to the good old days, not to live in the present, not to build for the future. Nothing could be a greater desecration of life. The sanctity of life is all about making the most of the opportunities, friends, that each and every one of us have. That is a phenomenal lesson for us, for each and every one of us about life. We can sit around moping when things don't go quite our way. We don't have petrol. We don't have this. We don't have that. The shortages. Life isn't a bed of roses. It doesn't work out the way we want. Life is all about challenges, about obstacles, about overcoming those challenges and achieving greatness. Noah profaned himself. He had so much to live for, so many opportunities to be the creator, the builder of the world, and yet he missed that golden opportunity. And it was Abraham, 10 generations later, who would take up the mantle of leadership, pick up the baton, and run with it, and create, as we all know, a great dynasty. Please God, we should all be able to learn and be inspired by the lessons of our parsha, the lesson of making the most of the opportunities, and to be givers. And in this way, please God, we'll be able to build a better society, a better community, and a better world filled with love, giving, and understanding. Wishing everyone well. Have a great day. All the very best.